avoiding yourself is stopping your manifestations. You see, when you avoid yourself, right, the phenomenon that is you, a consciousness inside a super powerful high-tech body, that wholeness of that, the convergence of that, you are essentially not able to access the full power of your creational abilities. And so everybody can kind of grasp the idea of avoiding oneself, right? And so avoiding yourself is basically not being able to sit in silence, being able to feel your body throughout the day, feel your body in anything that you're doing, being able to fully process and sit through anything, any emotion, any thoughts that are uncomfortable, and basically avoiding your purpose, avoiding the things that your soul is calling for you to do. So these are all essentially part of what avoiding yourself involves. And so, like, why do we do this? Why do we do this? And I'm not here to just tell you, oh yeah, stop doing it and just listen to motivational videos and just increase your willpower and push through. I want to provide some nuance, some information that most men's self-development spaces won't ever talk about, and especially if you're on a spiritual awakening process, you probably also haven't been exposed to this information. And even within those spaces, oftentimes the remedy is just further bypassing and further, it's like self-help in this disguised as it's funny because it's like it's basically all advice to further help you to avoid yourself, right? So like bypassing yourself. And yeah, it's like that's not going to be helpful to you to be able to create the life that you want, to experience fulfillment, because in order to do that, you have to really be connected to the fullness of yourself. Like, it's like grasping the totality of your human experience, the negative and the positive, the yin and yang, the stuff that you are proud of, the stuff that you're shameful of, being able to embrace it all, being able to sense completely your body in all its, nerves and senses, and being able to also tap into your spirit and in the realm of mind, right? And so that fullness is what's going to be able to allow you to create at the highest level. But we often just really sit with avoiding ourselves. So we often just spend our days avoiding different parts of what I just said, different areas of that. So we can be either avoiding our bodies, avoiding stuff that causes us shame, etc. But there's a reason why we do that, and it's based on a coping mechanism, a survival mechanism that your body does automatically in the face of trauma. So when you experience trauma, and the most common trauma and the most like impactful trauma occurs when you're a kid, when you were a little boy, and your body will automatically start to shut down your ability to sense and perceive negative emotions, right? Because if it didn't, you will just probably just get a heart attack and die. And so yeah, your body does that to keep you alive, and then we carry that throughout our lives. It becomes a habit, it becomes ingrained, and it becomes its own feedback loop where stuff that's familiar in our present to those traumatic experiences automatically will essentially pull out those mechanisms, those behaviors, those thought patterns to go back into avoidance. But it just becomes stronger and stronger, and then next thing you know, you're living your life in a state of just avoidance. And so maybe you're struggling with creating your dream life, and no matter how much you try to make better decisions, no matter how hard you try to move in a better direction, you still seem to not get the results that you want, and you're still struggling to like really call in that manifestation. And I'm speaking to myself too, because I've gone through this struggle. I'm going through this struggle of still being in the same cycles of suffering. And one thing that I'm really seeing, that the lesson here is to essentially be able to integrate these behaviors of avoidance, and yeah, it's a form of like alchemy, being able to take that trauma and take those avoidance strategies and bring balance and harmonize it, integrate it, right? So it's not about like pushing through and bypassing. It really is about like acknowledging it and fully being a witness to all the layers of yourself, to be a witness of your experiences in your past, the current experiences that you're going through. And like it's like, and all of that is really occurring in your heart, that whole process. But yeah, so it's like, it's basically, like this avoidance, it's because of trauma. And according to some nervous system coaches and like somatic therapy practitioners, they talk about how it's not just like in one day you'll be able to stop avoiding yourself completely. It does take time to develop the ability to sense your body, to sense your emotions, the ability to sense yourself in time and space, to sense the spiritual nature of you. It's going to take time, because essentially it's like the trauma forced you to disassociate from that. And so to be able to create fully, and like to be tapped into your full creational ability, requires you to put all those aspects of you in alignment. And so yeah, trauma just basically fragments all that. So the message here is, it's important to learn how to find remedies on how we can essentially become more aware of ourselves. And a big part of that is like that these practitioners talk about is embodiment and awareness practices. Now, I'm not going to cover all that in this video, but one thing that this woman, her name is Irene, she said that the biggest thing that you can do is, in the moment, in any moment, like any moment in your day-to-day, give yourself a mental cue to become aware of what you're doing. Like, and it's the small things that matter. It's like the sensations of you sitting down, the sensations of you picking up a glass, the sensations of you walking, the vibrations that you feel when you're talking, the small stuff. And also getting connected to, and this is my advice then, it's like finding ways to connect to your soul and your spirit. And so practices like breath work and lucid dreaming help you to connect to that aspect of yourself. So yeah, it's important to become aware of where we are immediately resorting to our programming, to this unconscious pattern of avoidance, and to meet those moments with compassion and love, and bring awareness, embodiment, to invite higher senses. So peace out.